All right. Welcome back from lunch, everyone. You see why Susan said what she said. Um, I am Adme, and many of you tell me you know me already. I am the faculty director on the Duke side, along with my friend Suzanne Memo on the Carolina side. And falls to me to work with these beautiful young peace builders from Carolina and from Duke, whose panel has been called Internalizing Peace, Reflections on Our Journey. And as I listened to these presentations, and I want you to know I've seen these presentations from version 1 to version 25. And they're extraordinary. The Delta is beautiful. So when I was listening to both of them, something unusual happened to me, which is Eleanor Roosevelt, who these two will know is not my favorite person. But nevertheless, Eleanor Roosevelt, who is often associated with human rights and peace building, had an epigraph that I'm going to offer for a epigraph for this panel. And she said, many of you will have heard this before, where do human rights and peace building begin? In small places close to home, so close and so small, they cannot be seen on any maps of the world. Yet they are the world of the individual person, the neighborhood he or she lives in, the factory, the farm, the office, or where he or she works. Such are the places where every man, woman, and child seeks equal justice, equal opportunity, equal dignity without discrimination, peace. I'm adding the peace part. Unless these rights have meaning there, in those small places close to home, they have little meaning anywhere. I think that Eleanor Roosevelt got it wrong in one respect. I'm going to say how that is. For Paula and Haruna, one thing that has struck me here is that your education has not been a thing. It has not been an accessory that you add a nice pair of shoes or gorgeous like necklace, right? You have been given a transformational, it has not been a thing that has been given to you, but a transformational process that you have bravely and beautifully stepped into in those beautiful shoes and with that sensibility. So the work of learning and unlearning is lifelong, and leaning into that process with the spirits that you have will make a difference not only to you, but to all whose lives you touch. In other words, it will in that way be seen on the map of the world, as Jacinta put it earlier, in the personal, local, and global arenas. So thank you for who you have become. I mean that seriously. I'm going to ask one question to both of our panelists. And after that, I will be asking everyone to offer your questions. So, Pao and Haruna, one of the lessons that you have offered us is that learning always includes unlearning and always includes taking abstract ideas and making them your own. That is that when you're unlearning, you're coming to understand that what you've been socialized to believe is importantly not the full story, and sometimes a deliberately distorted story. This transformation, of course, means that you are now new, more deeply aware people who are working with your own stories of peace, as you put it, Pao, within a society and a system that is not yet aware or has not yet internalized their own stories of peace. This is the question. How will you navigate a bigger system that may resist change and not welcome the implications of what you have learned and unlearned? I'll go first. You've got yours.
Yeah. I was so focused.
I was all ready to give it to you.
It's a huge question, big question, and definitely will be my next challenge when I, go back to work or go back to the where I come from, because I changed so much during this program. But at least what I can do is, I think, storytelling, because this is my story, and I can tell this story with my lived experience. And this storytelling will influence others, I believe. So, yeah.
Yes.
I think that's something that Jack mentioned earlier, to understand who's ready to have a conversation and to also understand who's not. I think that's very important. And how you show up for those conversations is also fundamental in the process. And keeping community that with whom you speak a shared language, with whom you can explore experiences, and with whom you can safely go into hard conversations and difficult conversations, and hold each other accountable. I think having that will nurture the process and the challenges that we will definitely encounter when we live this beautiful bubble.
Well, thank you. I have so much confidence in both of you. All right. Can we, I'd like to ask anybody first here in the Global FedEx building, if you have any questions for one or for both of our Peace Fellows. Yes, I see you up there.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chloe Mukibi. I am the Vice President of the Rotary Club at Methodist University. Thank you both for your presentations. They were both really wonderful and insightful. So my question can go out to both of you. Coming from Uganda, which is a global South country, which is not doing that great economically, and we have lots of aid. As you were saying, aid often subjugates like the mentality of the people, and it creates a dependency for aid rather than actual economic growth. What are strategies that Uganda as a government and as people and countries like Uganda can implement to actually grow in the long term economically, but also break the shackles of like colonialism and oppression mentally, like you were saying in your peace constellation, in your presentation? It's a holistic thing. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's a great question. Sorry, did I cut you? No. Okay. I think a good initial strategy is to recognize and hold two things, maybe in parallel. One, that we are so many actors working on this and with the potential to work on this. So we do tend to look at things in a binary, as we have been taught in a way. So we look at government, and then we look at, like the organizations. And there are so many more actors. There's family, there's community, there's friends, elders. And so I think an important first step, or like first strategy, is to really map out who are the stars in your constellations. Who are you going to be in conversation with? Who can you bring into the community building? Who is out there who wants to also partake of the conversation? And I think, that another element to keep in mind is that yes, there are colonial structures, and we as people and as society are also a hybrid of that. So it's good that we question them, and it's good that we acknowledge them critically. And it's also good and important that we do it compassionately, because ultimately we are the result of that as well. We are all the hybrid that has happened, and we have been brought up, and we're growing and we're experiencing life in this context and with this formation. So let's not fight it, let's question it and critically look at it. But it is us, it is part of us. So I think that those two can be good strategies to start.
I think it's a hard question to answer, but one thing I can add here is that probably we can also learn from the tradition and history. And as in one of the sessions we covered about indigenous knowledge and local knowledge, and probably we can also like look at it and how people have done conflict resolution throughout the history, and how we can learn from that experience too. So that's one thing I get at here. Yeah.
Thanks, Aruna and Pao. John, do we have any questions from our virtual community? Not yet. Okay. All right. Thank you. I see your hand second to the top line up there. Oh, thanks, Oliver.
Thank you both so much for those presentations. How beautiful and insightful, and I'm so grateful to you both. My question is for Pau. What a beautiful offering, this constellation of peace, and I'm wondering how you would invite others to adapt this framework to fit their own personal wisdom and identity.
Thank you. That's a beautiful question and such an important question. The constellations of peace make a lot of sense for me because I get grounded looking at the sky, as funny as that sounds. And I think that it's about precisely what you say, exploring your own stories, exploring your own system and your own communities, and what connections do you have. I think it's very important going back to Trix and Jack's presentations, mending the relationships with the world around us and understanding the world as the living human and non-human. I think that is something that we can all enrich from. And it's also about reflecting on where you are learning and who you're learning from. I think that for me, that was a big process, and that was a big part of my process, to recognize myself as a woman from the Andes and to really tap into what is it in my daily life, in my routines that I maybe took for granted. But then when I look at them from another perspective with more intentionality, then what does that give me? And it gave me the peace constellations. So it's an invitation to pause and give yourselves the opportunity to be lost, perhaps, with the certainty that you will find a path eventually.
John, I'm just going to wait to see if there are any virtual questions. If there are, you put up your hand, okay? All right. Anyone else from here? Yes, thank you, Laura. Here.
Oh.
I'll do what Erica did.
So thank you both for those personal stories. It was really inspiring to hear how you saw yourselves in your ancestry and traditions and in the human experiences of others. And I'm wondering, in the peace building field, we see a lot of burnout. We see a lot of people shouldering heavy burdens and feeling like they're taking that on alone. So how will your experiences and kind of acknowledging that you are existing in this common community and drawing on the history and stories of others to support your own work, how will that inform what you want to do professionally moving forward, and how you kind of sustain yourselves in this work?
All right, Haruna, you're going to get to go first.
Oh. 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 Yeah, it's a great question. Well, this belief that I have this community and I have created this, oh my goodness, created this community will definitely motivate me in, even if I confront any challenges in the future in the work or something. And I have someone to talk to that is asset of this program, and I am so grateful for it. Where did I go from it?
Yes. Yes. So building up of that. I think I'd like to offer, coming back to Grace's question and understanding that, yes, in the work that we do, in the work of peace building, development aid, we do hold a lot of tension, and we also hold it a lot here, in this space and in this bubble. oftentimes forgetting that we are all of this and we are all of this. So I think, I don't think, I know that tapping into vulnerability is hard, especially when we have opted not to because of the burden and because of the fast pace and because we need to get things done. And they're not going to get done if I give myself 30 minutes to cry. But those 30 minutes are so valuable. Or, every 5. They are very valuable. And so we have this notion, and I invite you to reflect on how many times you've thought like, oh, I don't have time for this, not now. And my sister always says, if you don't take time for your body to rest, your body's gonna take that time for you. So really bringing in the intentional, like being intentional and starting to do the exercise of being within yourself, but not only in your head, not only in your rational sense, but actually starting to feel, where is it heavy? Where does it feel? Where is it? Is it in your shoulder? Is it in your stomach? Is it in your back? And we're very quick to look for the medicine, right? Oh, my head, a pill. Oh, my stomach, a pill. But what would come up for each of us if you just gave yourself, this is not to say to have a stomach ache for 2 days. Gideon is not going to be happy with that. But it is to say, your body also speaks to you. Your body also is calling for your attention. And so take a look at that as well.
Thanks, Pao. So I saw a hand over there and then I see another one, but I've been told 5 minutes. So maybe what we could do is take both questions, if you say them both, and then we'll see if they can answer both. Can we get another runner?
Yeah. Thank
Over
you
to
for
the
the
other
emotional
person.
roller coaster. This day it's been incredible. If you could go back to the first day that you arrived and tell yourself something, so that while you're sitting right here today, you could reflect on that, what would you tell yourself?
I need to head it all the way up. And that person is right there. Yeah.
Thank you both for sharing your stories, and you definitely inspired me to share my story, and I'll do it real quick. I know we are out of time. So I have, I don't know if I can say beautiful son. He's 16 years old. He would not like that expression, but he's still my baby. He's still my son, my child. And his morning started yesterday with this official letter. He's here on the United for Ukraine program. And his morning started with the email from custom and something services in the official one. And it's the first sentence was that you have 7 days to leave the country, and the last sentence was, we will find you. You'd better live by yourself. 4 hours later, we got the notification that it was a mistake. But then an hour later, maybe less than an hour later, one of the news was about the city that is less than 200 miles away from my hometown, where 9 children died because of on the children's playground. And it was this Saturday, and I never paid attention, and I never felt this self-empathy before I had that empathy after you cried sharing your story. And my question is, how are those empathy, self-empathy, self-awareness probably, how are they connected? How do they relate? What does it start with you? Thank you so much.
Aruna, I'd like to have you go first, if that's okay with you.
Oh, for the first question and second question.
Take both of them or either of them. I think we might have to choose.
address the second question first. I think just ask yourself, like, what if, what if this situation was mine? What if, like, what happened to me? And you can start like asking another question, what would I do and what these people would think? And that's where you understand or you start recognizing that these people are also the same human beings and having the voices and having the agency, and also they have the power, or sometimes the power is deprived. And this notion of having the same ground, even though the situation is different, I think that can that can connect to the level of sort of like, having this like empathy from the distance. So like that's my way of, practice. And I think everyone else has, if everyone has their own way to, practice this empathy. So yeah, so I'm so glad that if my story kind of like inspired your perspective too. Thank you. And for the first question, I would say breathe. And I just got the same message from Susan. So still breathe. So breathe. But again, like coming back to the point of Paola, like it's okay to take a pause. It's okay to, make a break. It's okay to have some moment to reflect. It is self-care. So you don't have to push yourself all the time. That's my advice.
But
Last words.
yeah, thanks. I guess I think I would tell her that it will be hard, that making your dreams come true is beautiful and it is hard, and that it is okay.
Congratulations. We can do it. Let's get together. All right.